Hello everyone, I'm Paridhi Maheshwari from the journalism batch of 2023 and I'll be your host for today. SCMC witnessed a lot of offline events after almost 2 dreadful years of the pandemic, the last two major and unforgettable ones being ITS and Anukram. So today, we have with us few students who were instrumental in bringing these events to life. I'd really like you all to introduce yourselves one by one. Let's begin with Aditi.
Hi everyone, I'm Aditi Krishnan, a third year journalism student at SCMC. And I'm also one of the three sports coordinators from my batch, the other two being Alan and Rajneesh. As sports coordinators, one of our main roles is to plan and organize events, sporting events at SCMC, and of course see them through. And you don't necessarily need to know how to play a sport to be a sports coordinator, but I do play sports. I play quite a few, but one of my favorite to play is tennis and table tennis. And I love playing everything, but yeah, tennis is the one sport I really love. And yeah, the good thing about being a sports coordinator is you get the best of both worlds. You get to organize events as well as participate in them. And yeah, being a sports coordinator, you are kind of like a sporty person and you are competitive. And so the opportunity to compete that you get, that's one of the best things about the thing. And which is what I think makes it one of the most exciting and the best roles in SCMC, I would say. And I'd like to hand it over to Alan.
Right. Hi, everyone. Alan James here, another journalism student in my third year. And yes, like Aditi said, I am this also a sports coordinator with along with Rajneesh. And like she correctly mentioned, obviously being sports coordinator, it entails that you be interested in the world of sports. But something that we all have, learned thoroughly this ITS when we actually went on to organize an event was how much of the back end and the management side of sports, which is also a great introduction, to the other side, the other world of sports. Because as children, I think we've all been on the field and we've enjoyed every minute, every second on the field. And I think that's why the three of us are here as sports coordinators. And our goal now is just to enhance the experience that every batchmate of us can have, and to make the sports culture in SCMC a thriving one and something that people will look back at and be really proud of. So yeah, really excited for what we've done and cannot wait to just propel it upwards from here. And I give it to Rajneesh.
Hi everyone, I'm Rajneesh. I'm the third sports coordinator with these two. I'm studying advertising in my third year, and I like playing all sports, but my favorites have been basketball and table tennis. I think Alan and Aditi have covered everything about what we do, so I'd like to pass it over to Nishita.
Hi, I'm Nishita. I am a student of batch 2022. My specialization was advertising. I was the ad internship and placement coordinator. So I think internship and placement coordinator says it all. Our name introduces itself. We are the string, we are the POC from our university to different organizations, and we work towards students getting their internships as well as placements. And along with that, we also organized the large-scale event, Anukram, which involved calling industry leaders to the college to speak to the students and give an insight into how the industry is going to be. So yeah, and currently I'm working in Pune Times Mirror and the media sales department. And yeah, over to Abhishek.
Hi, so I am Abhishek Anand. I am also an internship and placement coordinator, and I was the head of student council as well. Hopefully, Nishita and I, we will both be alumni of this college if we pass our exams. But as far as Anukram is concerned, our job was to contact these guests, because it was a huge responsibility, because we were coming back to offline college after 2 years, and this event has always been offline, and there is a said reputation that leaders from the industry, they will come and they will talk to us. So contacting them, talking to them, and asking them to come to our college, and then hosting them for the entire platform for our college. And then students get to learn from this opportunity because there are different topics on which these speakers dedicate themselves towards. So overall, it became a great opportunity. And the other part of the internship duty was to also pitch to them about our students for internships and placements. So overall, this was our portfolio. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those lovely introductions. To begin with, when did you guys notice your inclination towards media and that you wanted to pursue a career in this field?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, sure.
So actually in 12th grade, I switched from science to arts because I really want to study psychology. And I think that interest carried over into me joining SCMC because media actually has a lot of my psychology involved in it. And I literally didn't apply to any other college because I was sure I really wanted to get into SCMC. Touch what I got in, and it's been really good since then. Yeah.
From my side, I think everyone has said right now that they only applied to symbiosis, and they were pretty confident that they will get it. I think from my side, I was the least confident that I would get in this college. And I was actually very confused because I was a science student, PCM. People were thinking engineering karega, ya fir a lot of things they were planning that, oh, so I am somebody who took PCMB. Okay, huge mistake. So after that, I seemed to rectify everything. I went through Symbiosis's program structure for media, and I really liked that it was not only dedicated towards media. It also had the social science courses that talk about why things are happening, why things are shaping in media the way they are. So that is something that I really liked. And yeah, I think I turned out to be pretty well.
Yeah, so inclination towards media, to be very honest, I was a commerce student, and my plans were all BBA, BSc Finance, Economics, something like that. And till one fine day, someone just walks up to me and says, "Oh my God, you like dance? You are someone who's confident while speaking, and you're into all this advertising. You like all this. Why don't you look at media as a career?" And I just switched. I saw SCMC's program, and I was like, "Oh my God, ye to karna hai." And that is how I entered. To be very honest, I had no pre-plans, nothing, not decided. And once I entered, I loved the place, and I just, completely shifted career paths. So yeah, that's about it.
Aditi, would you like to go? Yeah.
So hi, like almost everyone here, I was from the science background, and yeah, like Abhishek said, a mistake, but I don't really think it was a mistake. I really liked doing science, but then I think the pandemic was when everything aligned for me. For the pandemic was pretty bad for a lot of people, and yeah, it was bad, but somehow it was really good for me in terms of my thinking as far as my career goes. And I mean, again, it was either doing engineering, and this was the only media college I applied to. And it wasn't, and I've always loved writing, I've always loved sports. So yeah, during the pandemic, I started experimenting a little. I was like, yeah, I should write about sports. And I realized I really like doing that. And then it wasn't until I got the offer letter from SCMC that I realized I really wanted to do this. And as soon as I got it, I stopped studying for my JEE mains and everything. And I was like, no, not doing that. And I think that was one of the very best days of my life, the day I got into SCMC, because that's when I knew this is what I want to do.
Right. So I'll also just add on to that. Everyone's story is about how they've been in one stream and they've come onto the media. So I have a very similar story, but I've actually done my degree in BCom, and I was a banker. I got placed at Deutsche Bank, and I was working in a bank. And for me, I thought that was my end game. That's the road that I wanted to take, and accounts and finance is my go-to. But on the job, when I actually went and did what I wanted to do, I actually got and understood the reality of life. And I think that it's like a wave that hit me, that this is not where I want to be. And that got me thinking to as what I want to do. And I've been passionate about sports, since I have memory. I've been playing since I think the age of 2 or 3, and every moment, a happy moment that I've had in life, most of them have been on the field or when I've been involved in sports. And cricket is something that I was very, very passionate about. I still am. So the idea of getting into the cricket world through sports journalism was what I thought would be my career path. And SCMC was again the only college that I applied to, like all of us almost have done over here. And I had my fingers crossed. And well, SCMC also gave me some scares. First 3 lists came out, and naam to tha nahi usme, which did give me a little bit of little stress. But well, when the name came out in the 4th list, I was on cloud 9. And well, now I am here as a sports coordinator, the cricket captain in college. So yeah, I'm completely enjoying my experience at SCMC, and just loving every bit of it.
That was so many interesting stories to hear, especially Aditi like completely changing her mind at the very last moment. And I actually did not know that about Alan. I had no idea that you were actually a BCom student. So yeah, that was really interesting to hear. So when you guys joined SCMC, what were your expectations from the events and the extracurricular activities here? And how has your experience been this far?
Yeah, so I'll just take that one. So in my previous college, which was also a symbiosis, our campus really did not have that much of an extracurricular vertical, or maybe I wasn't as involved. But I did have friends who were in SCMC, and you just get to hear such great things about how you have academics and you have a life outside academics, and the life outside academics just seems so much more immersive. Just seemed like you have so much more to learn from that, because I mean, face it, like we know books can give us a lot of knowledge, but experience teaches us the things that we need to learn. And when I spoke to people about SCMC, my own friends who passed out, they only had great things to say. And I think in the past 4 months of our last semester, all of us have seen what exactly SCMC has to bring to its core. And every event, every person involved in the event, there's just so much talent. There's so much talent coming in through, and it's eye-opening, to just see that how people are. And you also take your craft a little more seriously, because you want to make a point of yourself as well, that if these people can do so well, even I can. And you want to stand out amongst the crowd. It's these things that SCMC brings out of you. And for someone who was not very confident about speaking, talking to people, interacting with people, SCMC I think gives you that platform, to be able to put yourself out there, test yourself in those waters. And well, it's been a very great experience. And from going to not talking about cricket to conducting IPL auctions and conducting cricket tournaments and like football and everything else, it's been amazing, and I just cannot wait for what's ahead. So yeah.
I completely agree with you. I think it's a lot about the people and the culture that the college really brings. So could you guys tell us a little bit about Anukram and ITS as events? Let's begin with Anukram. Nishita, would you like to go?
Okay, so Anukram, we recently had Anukram, so I'm sure all of you were there. So it's organized by the placement cell, and Abhishek and I were part of the placement cell. We had 8 other members. And basically, Anukram revolves around calling different industry leaders to the college so that they can give an insight to the students as to what is happening in the industry right now, and especially the 3rd-year students who are going to step into the industry, and give an insight or crack the media code basically, and understand what they're going to face. So we have an overarching theme followed by various sub themes for each specialization that come up with the batch preference, and we have speakers coming in and speaking about that. Abhishek, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think Anukram was the last event that we had. Of course, it was followed by farewell, but I think everything in I think 3-4 months. I think Alan will correct me if I'm wrong. Alan, Rajneesh, Aditi. In 4 or 5 months, we almost had 8 to 9 events, right? And then suddenly coming towards Anukram, where we only got 14 days to call these people to ask them whether they will be interested in coming to our college and speaking to our students. So it becomes important in a way that everybody has to learn that this is the working culture. This is how industry people will act. This is what is expected from them in the industry. Like if they want to transition their career into full-time media professionals, what is expected from them. And then from the placement cell perspective, it becomes important because then you can sit with these people, you can understand what kind of students these people want, and then you pitch them for placements and internships. Sounds very weird coming from a journal student like perspective, but this is completely marketing side. So saw the best of the worlds. That is it.
That's really interesting. Now, let's hear a little bit about ITS. Aditi, would you like to start?
Yeah, so ITS, in true spirit, is SCMC's Interbat Sports Competition. And it's like the name, like it's suggested by what I just said. It's organized by the Sports Committee of SCMC. And this happened just 1 month before Anukram. And we got to know about ITS happening just 2 weeks before it happened. So those 2 weeks before it happened, they were probably the most hectic time the three of us and the senior sports squads have had in SCMC. But honestly, it was amazing. So ITS has a lot of sports. So we play cricket. Alan's the captain right now. We play basketball. Rajneesh is the captain. We play tennis, table tennis. I mean, there's so many things we play, and we play throw ball. So throw ball is a sport that only girls play. Which is, I don't know why, but yeah. And then volleyball we play, and the thing about ITS is a lot of people did not know how to play these sports, but then those 2 weeks where we had practices every day in the mornings, in the evenings, the good thing was people actually came to learn, they came to practice, and the amount of chemistry we built in those 2 weeks, I mean, it's unmatchable. I mean, we pulled off something we didn't think we could ever pull off. And the great thing is, I mean, yeah, sports does make you very competitive, but seeing all the badges come together, and we were helping each other out. We were telling each other how to improve on areas, how to, yeah, basically learn. And I mean, it was just amazing to watch, and honestly, one of the best experiences I've had in SCMC so far. Would you
Alan,
like
would
to
you
add?
like to add to it?
Yeah, sure. Just like Aditi, correctly mentioned, the passion of people, was on display in complete force because we saw people, in practices getting injured, cramping up, but, not wanting to give up at all. I remember as sports coordinators, we actually had to go to captains and tell them, that listen, if this player is not at 100%, it's fine if they don't go through because, you need to take care of yourself. But just the passion that sports brings out of people that they wanted to be there, and they wanted to make a difference. And from our perspective, we were three sports coordinators, online because 23 is the online batch, and every experience that we had up until this point was online. So from going to not knowing anything at all, and 2 weeks later to actually having ITS organized and completely going through, we might say with some hiccups on the way, which we will get into later. But it was a very proud moment for us that, when the people from other batches, the juniors, the seniors, came up to us and said, that we're really proud of you with how you all have done it. So, these things just, put your chest up high and you look, that you believe in yourself even more. And, it just gives the three of us so much more confidence to just make, the next year in sports even more better so that ITS and every other event that we have in college is an experience that we don't want anyone to forget. So, yeah.
Rajneesh, is there something you think Aditi or Alan have missed out on?
Yeah. So it was very weird. Okay. So when ITS started, the first day we were on the cricket ground, and I was just looking at these kids who played cricket from 7 in the morning till around 9, took a half an hour break, played football again. And then I was like, okay, these guys must be done for the day. Next thing I know, I see them on the basketball court. And one part of me was like, ye log zinda kaise hai? But the other part of me was very happy because these guys were actually sharing our passion for the sports. And it was very nice to see our efforts actually pay off. I felt that was a very important part for us three as sports coordinators because it was our first event ever organizing it, right? Because first year was online and it was a really good experience.
I think that's the beauty of sports. It really brings together everyone, be it batches or your own batchmates. It just brings together everyone. So, can you all tell us about the processes and different preparations that go into curating these large scale events? Let's start with Anukram. Nishita, would you like to start? Abhishek, would you like to begin?
Yeah. So the process, I think, for the event was quite similar to other events. First, we needed to get the budget approved, and for that, it is a huge task. I think all the sports coordinators will agree. Just to get the budget approved, it takes a lot of time. You have to prepare the budget. You have to get the quotations. You have to figure out where to adjust these heads, like where you allocate money. So it becomes a huge task in that sense, only to create a budget. After that, you get it approved. Then you have the whole planning in front of you, where what kind of people you want to call, what will be their occupation in what sector. So you have to figure that out. You have to plan the execution day, that if as Nishita also mentioned, that there were themes and sub themes. So what sub theme will fit which speaker, which industry expert, is something that we have to break down. Then we have to break down ourselves into different teams, where somebody will handle social media, where somebody will handle guest relations. So all these kind of things happen as the preliminary round of the event, and then on the day of the event, or just 2 days before the event, everything gets berserk. Everybody has to come together and make sure that everything falls into place on the main day. So these were certain preparations that were going on from the Anukram side. I think Nishita will add onto it.
Hi, sorry, am I audible? I lost connection.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so basically the preparation that you'll say, it requires, like, it's a series of, I think, approvals. It is sitting and coming up with a budget which will get approved, hopefully. And then it is, I think, coming up with a guest list, looking at all the guests who will come, who won't come, how many of them cancel out on you, and deciding how many days, the days that are actually feasible for the batch, as well as the guests. And I think we had a lot of logistics going around, where we had to work on conveyance and F&B, and because when you have guests coming in, like high profile guests, you can't mess up with anything. It has to be perfect. So, or at least that is what we were told, that it has to be perfect. So I think those were a lot of preparations. Abhishek covered mostly everything, but yeah, those were the long lists that we came up with.
I've seen you guys coming early in the morning every day of Anukram and standing there ensuring everything is right. So yes, can understand all that goes behind it. So let's hear from the sports coordinators. Alan, would you like to start?
Right. So no, like these both have mentioned correctly, it's a series of approvals and budgets and logistic hassles that I don't think any of the sports coordinators from SY were even were ready for, because we had no idea. Well, it began, obviously with a budget that would be approved, and we did have to scratch our heads for it. We had to decide onto what will be the most important thing that we need and what we could do without. But we wanted to give everything to our batchmates, but you need to understand the constraints that exist. And then I remember Aditi and I, walking around campus, going from campus administration to get the sign of one teacher for, and go back to them, submit the form. Or then, if there's something that's missing, we go again back up. So, this back and forth with the approval forms and getting our own SCMC ground, getting the SLS ground, booking a bus for, when we would go to Lovely. There were so many logistical things involved, and as students, we tend to take these things very lightly because we think that they come up to us on a platter. But that was an eye opener for the three of us, wherein we realized how much actually goes in, to give the students what they want and what they need. And apart from that, when the tournament started, taking care of people, because it was peak summer during when ITS was happening, and summer that the heat that would honestly eat you up. It was draining and dreadful heat, and we needed to take care of the players, the athletes, because we had ITS over a span of 5 days. So there were a lot of things that we needed to look after, and also handling the score sheets of so many sports and making sure that we have them all kept together, and making sure that everyone is present at the grounds at different points in time, and having coordinators present at the ground so that if there's any hiccup, we are able to solve it. Obviously, we were not 100% successful in doing everything at the first try, but the only thing that kept us going is the fact that we were able to pull through, up until this point. So a lot of hiccups, a lot of hassles, but it honestly, I wouldn't have had it any other way, because if it came easy, then I don't think we would have enjoyed it as much. So yeah, even though the logistical and administrative hassles were so much, I think we are better off right now, and I think we can make our own sports committee, if I could say that. So yeah.
That's very interesting to hear. Aditi, do you have something to add to this?
So yeah, after we got to know ITS is happening for sure. Like Alan said, we made the budget. We had to do all of these things, all the technicalities. We had to make sure were in place, and then we had to form content teams, social media teams, design teams. So design teams are like very, very essential because they make our jerseys. So jerseys are basically the identity of a batch, and so the design team, they had to make our jerseys. They took inputs from almost everyone, and they made our jerseys, and then we had to send them for made to the jersey vendor, and then they sent it, and we got our jerseys just on the second day after ITS started. So the first day of ITS was in the Lovely campus, where we went and played badminton. The second day was table tennis. That's the day we got our jerseys. But the last 3 days of the ITS were the main days where the matches happened in SLS and SCMC. So for those 3 days, everyone was in their jerseys, and I mean, yeah, it was a hectic process getting everything approved and getting your jerseys. Then, and oh yeah, so the third years they get their jerseys sponsored by college, but the first and the second years we need to pay. So the thing is, we had to delegate.
This time we didn't. Sorry to cut
You
you
did?
off. No, but this time we didn't.
Oh no. Okay. Oh wow, that's sad. But yeah. Yeah, so the thing is, we had to delegate this work to a person for collecting all the money, and then, oh no, actually, we were only the ones doing it. Everyone was paying us through GPay, and then my GPay started acting up. I couldn't take more than 5 transactions a day, and I kept troubling Alan and Rajneesh throughout the day, asking them to take the transactions. So yeah, it was fun, and I'm sorry, Alan and Rajneesh, for that. Yeah.
Rajneesh, do you have something to add?
I think these two covered everything from start to finish.
Well, I remember annoying
I would
both
just like to
Alan
add
and
something.
yeah, go ahead.
So I think all three of these people will tell you how how things have worked during the event. But as a participant, I can tell you the whole arrangement. It was really great. We got to enjoy ourselves. It was our final year. We were having ITS for the second time, and these people were having it for the first time, and it never felt that they have never been a part of this college before, because they were so committed to the process. It was I remember playing volleyball and then shouting at Alan, where's the score sheet? And then he just ran and he came back with 5 copies of the score sheets. So it's that amount of work that from 6 a.m. in the morning that you have to prepare the whole codes, and then at 8 in the night you have to run for these score sheets. So all these things were happening, and yet everything went well, and the batch unity was on all-time high. Everybody was going crazy for their batches, and yeah, massive credit goes to the senior coordinators from our batch, Shanto, Mahika, Tanaya, and all these three coordinators. They absolutely made ideas what it was all about,
Well, I for a fact remember annoying both Aditi and Alan because I was not able to find my jersey. And every time I'd go around bugging them, they would look so tired. I did not have it in my heart to keep asking them to give my jersey. So, so what are some core memories and challenges you guys faced during event preparations that you still remember and will always remember them? Let's start with the senior batch. Abhishek?
So I think one incident that I will never forget is how we messed up. We messed up big time. So we had this GR sheet, right, where for every guest we had their timing, their arrival time, their departure time, and one of us used to go and pick them up. We used to drop them to the hotel, and then we used to escort them to the auditorium, to our auditorium. So once what happened, our guest, I would not name the guest, obviously, but they had to come. They reached the airport, okay, and suddenly we get a call from their secretary that, hey, are you guys there? Are you guys there to pick this person up? And then we were very surprised because in our sheet it was written 10 p.m. and this person arrived at 10 a.m. and we were all shocked. Okay, we were just, everyone went crazy. We were asking everybody for their car keys. We went to ADG, we went to Shriram sir, we went to everybody in our site. Sir, do you have your car keys? Do you have your car keys? Unfortunately, we got a car. We went to pick this person up and then we dropped them to the hotel. But that 5 to 10 minutes of chaos was everything. I would never forget because like two of them were crying, four of them were scratching their heads, and two people were looking for a solution. Everything was happening in this 10 minutes span. It felt that we messed up, but fortunately we were able to cover it up. I think this is something that I would always remember because it is funny now, but it was very chaotic that time.
I think that is the crisis management, the biggest crisis management that we did during Anukram.
Nishita, do you have any other core memory?
I think this is obviously the core memory, but a few more things would be, one would be, I remember we had this book that came out, the Anukram book, Alternate Realities, and it had to go for printing one day before Anukram, and Abhishek and I were the editing team heads. We were the content heads, and we open it with the design team and we realized the articles are not okay. And it was in the middle of the night at 1 or 2, I'm calling Abhishek. I'm like, wake up, we have to get this done. And both of us had not slept. We were working from morning, like around 9 till 8 in the evening. We were already in college. So, okay, we started. And there came a point, I remember, where I could see red spots on the screen. I couldn't read anything anymore. And I'm just like, nahi ho raha, mujhe kuch nahi dikh raha. And agle din the book had to go for printing. We had no choice. At one point, I'm calling Abhishek. Abhishek, are you awake? Abhishek's like, yeah. It'll get done. Don't worry. You won't believe we slept for 2 hours. We got the articles done. And next day morning, we were in college. And the crisis that he spoke about happened then and there. We were sleep deprived. We didn't know what was happening. And this happened. So this was one of the core memories that I have. Another would be, I think, me and Siddhi going to pick up one of our guests, and we were not supposed to go. We had someone there who was supposed to go at 4, and end moment we realized that due to whatever crisis they can't go. And Siddhi and I, we were not dressed in formal clothes that we were supposed to wear. We were running around. Our hair was everywhere. We had not eaten. We were looking homeless. I'm not even kidding. And ma'am is like, guest ko pick karne jao. And we're like, okay. And literally we sat in the car. We reached the airport 5 minutes before they land, and we're making our hair. She's feeding me whatever is in her tiffin. And we were like, ma'am, the guests are not going to recognize us as SCMC students. They're going to be like, you're homeless. We don't believe you. This was one of the core memories, how it was chaotic, but I think we learned a lot, and it is helping us a lot now. So these were a few core memories that I made that I will never forget in my life.
Wow, that was really crazy to hear about. So, do any of the sports squads have any memories to share?
Yeah, there's one moment, in ITS that I'm sure Abhishek also remembers very clearly. It was during one of the cricket matches that we had, on our own ground at SCMC, where we had planned to keep the match. I think the match in the morning was starting at 6:30 a.m. So, as a sports coordinator responsible for cricket, I remember reaching on the ground over there at 6 a.m. and obviously 6:30 a.m. start. 6:30 a.m. to nahi hoga, guaranteed. Everyone is tired, and subah to मुश्किल ही होता है. So I remember we started a little late. It was around 7 where we started, and I think 1 hour went by, one and a half hour something, and we were just interrupted by some people on the ground, who just barged in and told us to leave the ground at this very minute. And at first instant, our eyes went wide, and we were like, what's going on? What is happening? Because those people were stern, and they were adamant on the fact that this is their ground. We are trespassing over their ground. And the fact that we were SIMB students, I think sort of played against us, because they were not keen on listening to us. I think I remember them saying that you people are the one who are spoiling our grounds. And all I told him was in Marathi, because you need to play a Marathi card when you're dealing with locals over here. I remember telling him that all we want to do is play just like you guys are. So, let us do that. If you guys are players, you would understand how passionate we are, and we want, and how much we drive, how much drive we have to play this. So obviously arguments ensued, and we had to call Mate sir, and we had to ask Mate sir to speak to them as well. And at the end of the day, albeit we did not get what we wanted, the ideal scenario, but we at least came to an understanding. As in, they had told us that we would come at this time and we expect you to leave the ground, which obviously we didn't, because, we won't listen to them, obviously not. But yeah, it was, again, I remember a lot of the people obviously are not from Pune. So, for them, it's a scary experience that, what's going on? Are we safe? Is this going to ensue to something that we totally did not see? So, we did have those moments over there. But I'm proud of, how all of us, just stayed calm and, pulled through and ended up playing the game, which is of the utmost importance. And one more core memory, I would say, is, I think on the last day of ITS, when I saw, the respective batches, and even the first years, I remember the last match was, I think, between the second and the third years. And there was a second year corner and there was a third year corner, and I remember just coming into the ground and seeing the atmosphere, and it was just electric. I could hear the cheers from the gate, and just to see everyone together, like screaming and shouting in unison, and cheering their teammates on, and everyone also just taking and soaking in that vibe. It was honestly amazing, and I live for these days, and it's moments like these that makes all of us so proud of what we've done. So yeah, that again is something that I would never forget. The batches screaming together, and after the game is over, no matter how much you want your batch to win, the respect that every athlete had for the efforts put in, it was just great to see, and something that I don't think any one of us would forget.
I was in fact there when the cricket match was interrupted, so I remember the entire scene taking place. It was very shocking for us. We were like, what was happening? What is exactly going to happen after this? So yes, Rajneesh, do you have something to share?
Yeah, so I think for me, the ITS memory was when we were shooting our batch video. And all the captains of the teams and sports coordinators from our batch were on the SLS ground. Okay. And we were all very hyped, but we were a little tired because we already had a few matches and all. So we were on the ground, and the mood completely changed when we started shooting the video. And I just remember, I don't remember the rest of the day, but I just remember shouting so loud, Tayar hai hum, which was our batch slogan. And everyone else also shouted with so much intensity. I really felt like, yes, ये event तो अच्छा होगा ही होगा, कोई doubt नहीं है.
Aditi?
Uh, yeah. So, like Alan said, I mean, when you're a sports person, if you're playing an individual sport or even a team sport, your team isn't just the players that are playing; it's the extended, the people who come out to cheer you, and that's what drives you. And I mean, that was like so good to see. The last match was the volleyball match between the second and the third years, and it was an amazing match to watch. And yeah, like Alan said, one corner was second years, one corner was third years. Every time we were winning a point, we were going ballistic, and every time they were winning, they were going ballistic, and it was so good to see. I mean, everything was coming together then, and I mean that was a moment of pride for I think all of us. And another memory was when we went to Lavle. We went. It was a bus ride. When we were coming back, all six of our sports codes, our seniors, shout out to them. They really helped us through all of this. The six of us, we sat together and we were getting to hear stories from previous ITSs. And yeah, we got to learn, we got to know about a few gossips, thingies. And I mean, it was fun. And I hope that's a tradition we can continue with the sports coordinators that come in now. And on a personal level, so assignments are a thing that keep coming in SCMC. There's no stopping them. So ITS, even though ITS was so hectic, our assignment schedule was even more hectic if that's possible during that time. And I remember on the last day of ITS, we had a submission of something. So we had to edit something and it was to be done in pairs. So my partner in that, he had a basketball match that day. I had my throw ball match. I had my tennis match. Cricket match was that day. So we were both like, how are we going to do this? And we hadn't finished it. At least I thought we hadn't finished it. And I mean, I was panicking. So I'm someone who does not like submitting assignments late. But then at that point, I was just like, no, I can't submit it right now. I need to go play. And it was playing on my mind the entire time. And during the volleyball match, I was still panicking. I was trying to finish it and submit it late. But then, so my teammate, he just comes over and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to edit this. And he's like, oh, I already submitted it. And oh my God, I felt like punching him. But I also felt like, I mean, I was so grateful that he did submit it on time. And yeah, that was probably one of the most hectic and exciting experiences of ever submitting an assignment. So ITS did that for me as well.
Those were some memories which are very fun to know. Yeah, Nishita, did you have something to add?
I just want to add something. I was not part of ITS, neither was I a participant nor was I part of the organizing committee. I was literally sitting in the audience and I remember screaming. Abhishek was playing from my batch, Agashe was playing, Shyam was playing. I remember screaming for 2022. And I'll be very honest, I didn't know about all these crises, but I understand the efforts that go behind an event. And I am so proud of all the sports squads and all the team behind, because genuinely it was the best event. It was fun. Even as audience, we enjoyed a lot. They made sure, that the batch spirit was there and sportsmanship spirit was there. So I'm really proud and kudos to all of them who actually came up with ideas and made it a success.
I completely agree with you. Well, I think all of us are doing internships at the moment. So how have these experiences from the event planning helped you in your current job or internship? Would you like to start, Nishita?
Okay. So I'm currently doing media sales in Pune Times Mirror, the tabloid. So my job involves talking to clients, talking to them, convincing them. So I think one thing I've learned from being part of the placement cell as well as Anukram is how to keep a professional smile all the time. Keep your temper, do not lose your temper. No matter how angry you are, how irritated you are, you have to keep a smile on your face and be like, yes, sir, I understand what you're saying. Yes, ma'am, I understand what you're saying, but this is what you want to do. So I think that is the most important or major thing that I learned, how to talk to people, how to keep your professionalism on 24/7. Like you have to go from frustration to politeness in a nanosecond. And I have learned that in Anukram. I'm not even kidding. I would literally turn, look at Abhishek with frustration on my face. And this moment I can see a guest and I'm just like, hello, sir, how are you? And that was it. So those are the things I learned. Other than that, coming up with proper plans, planning beforehand, organizing your workout, making sure everything is in place before you get to it, before you get to the execution part. I think that helps a lot. Whether I think that will help you in any field, whether you're in advertising, journalism, anything. So those are the major things that I've learned, and they actually help when you step into the industry. Abhishek? Abhishek, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think patience is a must if you're here in like in general life in SCMC. You have to be very, very patient because you will get loads of assignment. I think in our first year during our induction, one of our seniors, I think I heard this line that has stuck with me ever since. I also told my juniors about this, that clothes in SCMC never dry off, metaphorically and literally. Because first, Pune weather, and the other thing is that you never rest. You never learn to rest. In the morning, you have your college, evening, you have your club events, sports, and then you have your assignments at night. So you never are free. Everybody will keep asking you, "ऐसा क्या कराते हैं भाई college में?" And then you just give them a blank face because you don't know what to tell them. कि इतना काम कराते हैं. So all these things, and you have to be very patient through the process. You can't just come in and you can ask somebody that, hey, how can you do that? And I think much of that also comes from sports. I think Alan will agree. In cricket, we have seen how how you have to calm your bowler or everything. Even in volleyball ground, I was the captain with Tanaya, and we had to make sure that both of us do not get flustered, do not get irritated, because then we had an entire team which we had to support. So even in Anukram, we had to be very, very patient with the guests because honestly some people had unreasonable demands. Some of them will get angry on small things, and then you have this entire process to do in 14 days. You have to publish a book, you have to call these guests, you have to book their flight tickets, you have to book their hotels, and everything. Like there are hundreds of things even in ITS, and that is why having patience, being calm on field, being calm wherever you go becomes very important. And I think all these help to shape an individual during their internship season, because we have seen so much work, or we have gone through so much work, that when we go to industry, suddenly we feel that, oh, itna free time bhi hota hai kya? And then you start enjoying yourselves during the internship as well. So I think the entire process of our college is to shape ourselves for the industry, and I think it works immensely great for that. In that sense, and we can ask these students, we can ask our second years, because they are in the middle of their internships.
I just want to add one thing. Another thing I think even Abhishek will agree is we've learned how to work with a team and not lose patience on each other also. That is one of the major things that you learn, on how to work together, understand each other better, personally as well as professionally. You have a lot going on your mind, but you have to understand that the person in front is also going through a lot. There is a lot of thing that is in their minds too. So that is one thing. You learn how to work in a team, with a team, and somewhere you also learn how to lead a team. So I think those are the few things that also add up.
Right, I completely agree with the two of you. Do our second years have to add something too?
Yeah. So, like Abhishek and Nishita have like pointed out correctly, I won't take too much of a time. I just, a small point wherein what we understood when we were doing ITS is that, as sports coordinators, we had laid out a plan and we had noted points down and we wanted a process to go, in this very said manner. But a learning that we also took from the, ITS is that, at some point it's not going to happen the way that you thought it out to be. And like the crisis that they found themselves in, wherein the guests came in 12 hours earlier than they anticipated. Events like these, they and the crisis that we had on the ground. It's events like these, moments like these, that prepare you for what comes out in the real world, because we need to be okay with the fact that things will not go in the way that we plan them to do, and we need to be ready to deal with these things, in the best way possible. And the point that they made about people, ITS or Anukram is anything is basically a people's business, and it gave us so much understanding of different perspectives, different personalities, how people, how people think, and it gives you so much food for thought that, oh, maybe I never looked at it that way, or oh, maybe I never even thought of it that way. So just working with so many people around you, you get to realize how much in water you are with these with regards to these things. So yeah, it's something that you will take with you for sure, that you just understand that at the end of the day you're also part of the process, and you are not the process. So you need to be able to do the best to take it ahead. So yeah, these learnings and more learnings to come. But yeah, I think understanding how people function and how you are with people is something that it was a big takeaway for all of us.
Rajneesh, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I just feel like I think what Nishita and Abhishek said about being patient in the, in your internship or jobs, I think I noticed that firsthand because, so there was this incident that during our first basketball match, we weren't able to perform really well. Okay. So it was completely unexpected for us because we thought we were prepared and it was just a, slap in the face. Like we're not able to do anything. It was just annoying for all of us as a team. And I just remember feeling I wasn't worked up at all, and I was a captain. So if this was like a few months ago, I probably would have, gotten caught up in my emotions and said some things to my team. But this exact moment, I was so calm, and I just remember just thinking, "ठीक है, होता है, सब try कर रहे हैं अपना best." And I feel like this has really carried over into my internship also. And I'm just learning to be patient with everyone because everyone has things on their plate and they're doing the best they can. So it really helped me grow as a person.
Aditi, is there something you've applied to your internships?
I mean, I think they covered pretty much everything in, like Rajni said, patience, yeah. So there was this volleyball match going on between the first years and the second years, our first volleyball match. And the first years were playing really well. But whenever they were making a mistake, their captain wasn't shouting at them or anything. But people on our side, we were getting very frustrated because of which our performance was going down. And the thing is, yeah, you need to take care of your mental state during a match as well as other people's. You need to consider what they're going through as well. And I think that's what makes a good team. And I think that's what all of us learned during ITS, which we also apply right now to our internships. That, yeah, you need to know how to work as a team and know that there are things going on in other people's minds that you may not know about. So, yeah, just keep that in mind.
So yes, patience is definitely the key. I am learning that in my internship too presently because I'm doing content writing sitting at home, but I'm still getting so frustrated with the amount of edits I get to make. I'm like, okay, I didn't know my grammar is that bad. All right, so some of you will be completing your graduation this year,
Welcome to the
and
world of
some
media.
and some will be going into their final year. So, what is your favorite part about the SCMC campus that every student should experience here?
Abhishek,
Abhishek?
great.
Okay, Nishita.
Abhishek, do you want
I think, yeah, I think we were discussing this yesterday. That the most favorite part of the campus is no longer there because obviously. So
Yeah.
it used to be the activity lounge, which has now become 605, the other classroom. But I think activity lounge was a very different space for everybody because downstairs in 501, 601, 604, we used to get frustrated at times. And then activity lounge at that point was an open space where you can just go and sit, nothing else. And it will calm you down. You can sit there, you can talk to your friends. We used to have our theater workshops there. So it used to be amazing where all of us got this opportunity to, sit together and talk to each other, calm ourselves down. And then some of these people used to bunk their classes sitting at the in the activity lounge. So that also used to happen. The other place that I think a lot of us have memories with is 501, obviously, but amphitheater. Because then again, it brings everyone together. We sit there. We used to have dance club sessions there. We used to have theater club sessions there. We also had the farewell surprise there. So the place, it has actually brought a lot of memories and have bonded us together. So you can never forget places like these.
Yeah, I mean, adding to, I think Abhishek has actually told us the batch favorite places. So yeah, the activity lounge, I remember activity lounge being my favorite because we had our first dance club session there. And I had just come in and I used to love to dance and I saw all our seniors and everything and I was like, oh my God. So that was something that, we used to have all our first year Wear Vidya practices, everything in the activity lounge. And you could just sit there and just look at the skies. And when it would rain, there would be, pani andar aa gaya, and oh my God, what to do? And we had a lot of fun there. We, like Abhishek said, whether you bunked classes or you just have free time, you're sitting in the activity lounge. You're late for class, professor ne darwaza band kar diya, go and sit in the activity lounge. That is what we've done. So that was a place where all of us have bonded. I even remember people falling asleep in the activity lounge. There were tables there because hawa itni achhi thi. Free time hai, kya kare? So that is what the activity lounge was for us, which eventually got converted to 605 and placement room. So, and ironically, we did spend our last 6 months there, but in the placement room. And other than that, I think for me, along with the amphitheater, the juice center that we have is like memorable because no matter what time it is, 10 in the morning, 5 in the evening, we would be running there, nimbu pani de do, bahut garmi hai. And we would stand there for at least an hour just talking and, chatting about things. So I think that was another place where I bonded with a lot of juniors also. So I think that is something everybody should experience once in their life.
I think activity lounge is something we have definitely missed. We've heard a lot about it, but could never see it. So, would Aditi like to go?
Yeah. So one of my favorite places is the shooting floor. I mean, even if you're a media, yeah, you are a media student, and I mean, yeah. So even if you're not planning to go into AV or broadcast journalism, I think cameras in general or shooting a film in general will fascinate you, at least seeing the process. And that's where it all happens. That's also where we got our pictures for ITS captains clicked. And I mean, I have a lot of good memories associated with that room. We've had a lot of good what activities we've done in class there, which is why I really like going to that place and experimenting there. Even though I hate being in front of a camera, it's just something I like being behind. And yeah, I like seeing behind the scenes. Also, another place I really love is the ground, of course, because I mean, yeah, we play a lot of stuff there. I mean, cricket, like Alan mentioned, a lot of cricket stuffs happen there. But one memory that stands out is on the first day of ITS, we were having our first year versus second year boys football match there, and we played 40 minutes. So the entire match is just 45 minutes, I think. And it was nil after full time. So we went into penalties. And penalties, yeah, are very, very stressful. But yeah, it was 5 penalties each. And I think, yeah, those guys, we started and we scored, they scored, we scored, they missed. And I remember us spectators going, I mean, I can't explain the atmosphere there when they were missing and we were scoring. And in the end, it was, I think, yeah, we had to score to win. And we scored, and I remember all of us spectators is running onto the field and I mean hugging everyone there, climbing on top of the goalkeeper, and I mean a lot of them even lifted up the goalkeeper and all the other players, and it was just an amazing thing to watch, and that's one memory that will stay with me forever, I hope.
Rajneesh, do you have something to mention?
Yeah, so I think everyone once in their life they need to experience the AC rooms in Symbiosis, because for us we spend the whole day just booking grounds, doing this, that, and then we get into the AC rooms and we're completely happy. It's such a different space for us. So that's it. I think everyone should go to the AC rooms and just chill there for a bit, just for your own peace of mind.
Alan, do you have a favorite space in SCMC?
Right. So, just like Rajneesh just said, 501 has very good memories, also because of the AC, but, more so because, we actually ended up planning and organizing a very own IPL auction, which is something that Shanti, Shayanto, and I really hold close. Because both of us, if you all not know, wanted to become, sports journalism into the broadcasting vertical. So it was something that we were really keen on doing, and we were very excited about it, and also very scared, as to how it would be taken. But the success and just how the entire event went on. So 501 will always be special, for the fact that I was able to do it with him. At least one thing, that we were able to have this memory together. And obviously, like Aditi mentioned, the football game that she spoke about, I remember being the sports coordinator, but I was so involved, and, emotions was on just such a high that I was with the football team, during the penalty, and I kept cheering on. And I remember Siddharth Gandhi, our captain, actually asked me to calm down and, pull myself behind, because he said, we've not won yet. And we celebrate when we win, not don't celebrate every goal. But yeah, like she said, when Apekshit saved that. And, I remember this Apekshit's very famous line where he says, "Sab tight rahenge," So I remember every one of us saying that to Apekshit, ki tight rahe. And well, he actually was tight enough to, win that penalty shootout for us. So yeah, another core memory is obviously the SCMC ground. Hopefully get to experience more and more of the SCMC ground.
I just want to say something. Aditi spoke about the shooting floor, and something just came back. So during Anukram, we had our photo shoot, our only photo shoot as placement coordinators. So we had all dressed up and we went there, and we must have spent around 1 or 2 hours in that room. And I'm telling you, the photo shoot lasted 15 minutes, maximum 15, Abhishek, 20 minutes. That was all that was required for the photo shoot. And believe it or not, less than that, believe it or not, for the rest of the time, Abhishek was playing music. Siddhi, Kirtana, all the senior coordinators, Siddhi, Jain, Kirtana, Unni, Nanda, we were all there and we were genuinely dancing, jumping around. And at one point, Somalika, who was there with the camera, she was like, "Get out, everybody." I am not joking. That was, I think, the last fun bonding time that we had as coordinators, and that is one core memory that I have on the shooting floor also. So I just wanted to add that. So I think even though we are giving one places on SCMC, one place that is the favorite, the campus on a whole, every room you go to, every floor you go to, you have a memory there.
That is so true. And I think we definitely hope to make the best of the last year that we have, like you guys have done. So thank you so much for this beautiful session. It was lovely hearing all the crazy fun memories that you all spoke about. And I hope you all had fun too. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Thank you so
for
much.
inviting us.
Thank you.